Are you a 50-plus-year-old woman and you're trying to make healthy choices? I've got you. My name is Ellen Allard of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and I want to help you plant your plate one healthy meal at a time. One of the things that I am absolutely determined to do is to help you get off the diet roller coaster. I was on it right there next to you, sharing one of those cars where we would go up and down, right? Go on this diet, go on that diet. My goal is to help you get off that diet roller coaster the way I did, because right now I have food freedom finally, and I'm going to be 70 years old. For the last 6 years, I have found food freedom, and I want to help you find the same thing, because it's wonderful not to have to count calories, not to weigh and to measure and to count points. And if that works for you, fine. I'm not going to disparage it, but I'm telling you that this food freedom has changed my life, and I want to help you change yours too. When I first started this lifestyle, it started with breakfast. I knew, just based on experience, that when I made a good, healthy choice that was going to support my healthy lifestyle, if I did that first thing in the morning, most of the time, the rest of the day would follow suit. So I had to find a breakfast that would just work for me, that would fit my lifestyle, and that would help me make the rest of the day go like clockwork. And that was oatmeal. So I'm going to show you how I make oatmeal now. It's evolved over the last 6 years. When I first started, and I recommend this for you, make it simple. Do oatmeal and water, or oatmeal and milk, however you want to cook it, whatever liquid you want to cook it in. And then maybe add one fruit, and you're done. Okay? Super, super simple. Then you can graduate and start layering it and making it a little bit more evolved, we'll call it. So for now, for today, I'm going to show you where I've come to after these 6 years, where I've landed in terms of making my oatmeal. I basically call it party in a bowl. That's what it is. It's an oatmeal party in a bowl. First thing I do is I lay out all my ingredients so that I don't have to go running in the middle of the recipe and then get flustered. You want to have everything, it's called mise en place. It's a French term where you just put everything out and ready for you to cook with. That's the best, most efficient, most effective way to start. Now, this is my oatmeal recipe for 2 people. I happen to like my oatmeal a little looser, not so porridgey and thick. If you like yours porridgey and thick, then use less water. So for 2 of us, I'm putting in 1.5 cups of water. I put the lid on because it helps the water come to a boil quicker. Okay, the water came up to a boil, and I actually turned it down a little bit because I don't want it to keep boiling. I don't want the oatmeal to be cooking at a rapid boil. I want it to be more of a medium. So I'm going to put in 1/4 cup for me, 1/4 cup for him. I'm going to have some water at the ready just in case it gets a little bit too dry. Because remember, I said I really prefer my oatmeal to be sort of more, not soupy, but just a little looser, we'll call it. I'm going to start adding in some other things. First, I'm going to add some cinnamon. I did not measure the cinnamon. I just sprinkled it in. I'm going to add a little tiny bit, just maybe a vanilla extract. 2 tablespoons of red lentils. You do not have to add these. I like it for the extra oomph of protein. I'm going to go 1, 2, some shredded carrot. Let's see, about probably 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more. Again, I'm not measuring, I'm just going by eyeballing it. I keep shredded carrots in the fridge at all times because I use it on salads, I use it in soups, I use it in my oatmeal. Now for the surprise ingredient, I add riced cauliflower, which I keep in my freezer. I put in 1 tablespoon, another tablespoon, maybe 1 more. And again, if you make this, you're going to experiment, and I encourage you to do that. Find the amount that works for you. I'd always start by saying less is more because you don't want it to have a super, actually, you don't want it to have any cauliflower taste. And it will melt, it will disappear with all the other flavors that you have in there. Half a banana mashed. It just adds a little bit of sweetness to the oatmeal. And I find that I use less maple syrup. I mean, I love maple syrup, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to use a lot of it. It's very high on the glycemic scale, and it will really jack your blood sugar up, and we don't want that. So I do about a half of a banana for the two of us, and that's just enough to sweeten it. Just when you thought I was done, I have one more thing I'm going to add. I saved the zucchini for last. That's right, you heard me, zucchini, because it cooks the quickest. I wanted to get the lentils and the oatmeal and the carrots especially in early because it will help it cook. I'm going to peel it. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. It's boiling a little bit too rapidly for my liking. And see, this is about a half, maybe a third of a zucchini, and I'm only going to do half of that, just this much, just to add an extra little bit of fiber. Okay, into the pot goes this zucchini, which of course will slow down the cooking because it was a cold zucchini. Now, it's gotten already a little bit too thick for my liking. So remember that little bit of water that I had? I'm going to pour that in. Start with a little bit at a time. And I'm going to let that cook. And while that's cooking, I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients together. So I want to reiterate how important it is to find that one breakfast that's yours and have that breakfast every day until it becomes solid and you don't have to question it. Okay, so you do you and you find your rhythm. Once you get up and running and you've got your breakfast thing down pat and you don't have to question it, then you can start to sort of go with the flow and experiment a little bit more. You can add more ingredients. You can add different kinds of fruits. You can add different kinds of toppings. You can add yogurt on the top. I make my own soy yogurt. I'm going to show you what this looks like. And that's how I like it. You can see it's a little bit watery, but I prefer it that way. And some of that will even get evaporated as well. All right, toppings. This is the fun part. You get to sort of dress it up. It's like putting jewelry on, right? I'm going to use an apple. I'm going to use some flax meal. Great for omega-3s, great for reducing inflammation. I'm going to use some of my homemade granola. And if you want a recipe for this, let me know in the comments below. Speaking of the comments below, please do me a favor and you can click that little thumbs up, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment and tell me what your favorite breakfast is. Do you have a favorite way of eating oatmeal? And also, most importantly, subscribe because that's how YouTube will send my videos to other women just like you who really want to get on the whole food plant-based way of eating and they want to finally get off the diet roller coaster. Sometimes I have fresh blueberries. Today I have frozen. These are from Costco and I love these. So I'm going to put them in a little microwavable bowl. And by the way, if you happen to notice behind me, I have three of these containers of ripe bananas. They've been sitting on my counter for a few days. I always look in the reduced section, the produce area department of my supermarket. And if they have bananas that are reduced, I always get them because I like them. Even these could even sit on my counter for another day and get even more spotted. But I will peel them and put them in the freezer, and I use them for smoothies, for making pudding. There's lots of different applications. And that's enough for him. And that's enough for me. A little bit of maple syrup. My husband still eats dairy, so we have his yogurt and my yogurt, his and hers. This is my homemade soy yogurt. Again, if you want a recipe for how to make this soy yogurt in the Instant Pot, that's how I do it. Let me know. Now that looks like a lot of oatmeal, but there's a lot of other stuff in there. Carrots and cauliflower and zucchini and banana. So it's not just oatmeal. And lots of water, by the way. apple. I love me some blueberries. I find that the soy yogurt needs to be stirred pretty much every time I open the jar. A tablespoon of flax meal, a little bit more cinnamon, granola, maple syrup, not a lot. And that is my beautiful bowl of oatmeal. This will keep me full until for at least 4 or 5 hours. It's a pretty big bowl of oatmeal with a lot of goodies in it. And I'm going to leave the recipe down below in the show notes so you can recreate it or any part of it. You don't have to use all those extra little trimmings that I did. Keep it simple to start with. As you get used to it and as you make oatmeal a part of your regular routine, you can start ornamenting it or adding some jewelry, as we call it. I am so passionate about helping you learn how to get off the diet roller coaster and make healthy choices all the time, or at least make those healthy choices most of the time. I'm Ellen Allard of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and I help you plant your plate one healthy meal at a time.